Marvell Thomas, a 75-year-old member of Stax's first family, passed away. Marvell Thomas, a member of Stax's first family, passed away on Monday after a brief and undisclosed illness. The musician from Memphis was 75 years old. Marvell, the elder brother of singing sisters Carla and Vanice Thomas and the son of legendary Bluff City entertainer Rufus Thomas, was a well-known pianist, producer, and arranger in his own right. He contributed to many of Stax's early hits, as well as important records like Isaac Hayes' Hot Buttered Soul. Thomas's passing was confirmed by the Stax Museum of American Soul Music. The Thomas family issued a statement on Tuesday stating, among other things, that their loved one was a brother, father, and spouse. Everyone can enjoy the rich musical legacy he has left behind. According to Stax spokesman Tim Sampson, Marvell Thomas was one of those rare behind-the-scenes musicians. He made a significant contribution to the Memphis sound, but despite always seeming to accept that role, he never quite received the widespread recognition he deserved. Stax Records' success was largely due to the keyboards, arrangements, and production skills he provided to everyone from Isaac Hayes to his sister Carla Thomas. Speaking to the commercial appeal in 2011, Thomas, who was recognized for his openness and commitment to the more well-known members of his family, seemed humbled by the recognition on the eve of his induction into the Beale Street Walk of Fame. "I was very flattered because the general public doesn't know about people like me," stated Thomas. "They are familiar with singers, but not with producers, songwriters, or session musicians. Thus, it's beneficial to be acknowledged." Sampson stated, Stax artists flew in from all over the country when he was honored with a brass note on Beale Street, which was a testament to his career. Stax historian Rob Bauman came all the way from Canada to give a talk, and Paul Schaffer, the bandleader of David Letterman, recorded a special video message for him. Those who truly understood Stax were always aware of his value and contributions to his family, the label, and both. Marvell, the eldest child of Rufus and Lorraine Thomas, was raised in the shadow of his father's Beale Street performance, having been born in 1941. "It's like having a second home," Thomas remarked in 2011. "Our house was only 3 blocks away. When I was 5 years old, I used to run up and down Beale Street all the time, much to my parents' dismay when they discovered. Naturally, I attended a lot of events in a legitimate capacity as well, back when my father hosted the talent show at the Palace Theater every Thursday night." Even with his early exposure to the entertainment industry, Thomas's career as a musician wasn't always assured. "Actually, music was a long way from my mind as a potential career," he stated. "Being a doctor was my goal. I was getting ready to attend medical school. That was my plan. However, all of that medical stuff vanished when Stax opened." Rufus Thomas was approached by local musician and family friend Robert Talley at Satellite Records, a young label headed by country fiddler and banker Jim Stewart and his sister Estelle Axton, in the summer of 1960. At the time, Rufus Thomas was selling a demo tape of his daughter Carla that he had recorded at home. For nearly 3 years, Satellite had been making unsuccessful cuts of pop and country songs. As his finances and opportunities dwindled, Stewart jumped at the chance to record a duet of an R&B song, "'Cause I Love You," with Rufus and Carla. This was the first session recorded in the recently remodeled movie theater/studio at 926 E. McLemore, which would later serve as the label's headquarters and creative center. Marvell recalled, "'Cause I Love You was a family thing. I was the pianist for the session. They were the artists. We are all 3 there from the beginning." "'Cause I Love You" became a regional hit within months of its release, moving thousands of copies in Memphis, Nashville, and Atlanta. Executive Jerry Wexler of Atlantic Records became interested in it as a result of its success, and the two started a distribution partnership that would eventually propel the label to national prominence. With the self-penned Gee Whiz, Look at His Eyes that sold 500,000 copies, Carla would soon blow things up as a solo act, and Rufus would chart with Walkin' the Dog. After being renamed Stax in 1961, it took off. The Thomas family would grow up in Soulsville and Stax Records. Rufus was a legendary figure at the label, and his sister Carla was the first major hitmaker for the label. Marvell would go on to become a vital member of the background as a producer and session player, working with artists such as Johnny Taylor, Isaac Hayes, Wilson Pickett, and a fervent supporter of his father's and his family's legacy over time. He was successful in his campaign in 1995 to rename a Beale Street in Rufus' honor. Additionally, Rufus and Carla were both inducted into the Memphis Music Hall of Fame in recent years. Marvell was anticipated to play a significant role in a number of events and activities organized by the Stax Museum in honor of Rufus Thomas' 100th birthday this spring. Stax Sampson stated, "We wanted to honor Rufus and highlight the accomplishments of the entire family. We will carry out those plans with a particular emphasis on honoring Marvell Thomas' amazing life." Thomas is survived by his sisters Carla and Venice, daughter Leah, and wife Najee. Marvell Thomas's life will be celebrated publicly at a later time, but for now, the family will have a private service. The family requests donations to the Rufus Thomas Scholarship Fund, C/O Soulsville Foundation, 926 Micklemore Avenue, Memphis, TN 38106 in lieu of flowers. Marvell Thomas, who was 75 years old when he passed away, was a pivotal figure in the history of Stax Records and the Memphis music scene. His legacy helped to shape the sound of American soul music. Marvell was a prominent member of Stax's first family, having been the older brother of Carla and Venice Thomas and the son of the renowned Rufus Thomas. He made a significant contribution to the label's success as well as the creation of the Memphis sound. Even though he stayed mostly in the background, his work as an arranger, producer, and pianist had a significant impact and helped create a number of well-known records. Marvell Thomas was raised in the lively Beale Street music scene, where his father was a well-known performer. Marvell Thomas was born in 1941. His early involvement in the music industry helped pave the way for his future profession, even though it wasn't always obvious that he would carry on his family's legacy. Thomas had originally intended to become a doctor, but after his family started working with Satellite Records, the forerunner of Stax Records, he became interested in the music business. This choice would transform his life and launch an incredible multi-decade career. When he played piano during the recording of his father and sister Carla's duet, "'Cause I Love You," in 1960, he made his first significant contribution. Marvell was present from the start of Stax's ascent to fame, which was signaled by this record. Thomas became a vital member of the team as Stax developed into one of the major American soul labels, closely collaborating with musicians such as Johnny Taylor, the Staple Singers, and Isaac Hayes. Particularly noteworthy is his contribution to Hayes' Hot Buttered Soul album, which helped redefine soul music in the late 1960s. Marvell Thomas accepted with humility that he would always be largely unknown to the public despite his enormous contributions. He acknowledged that people frequently ignore the work of producers and session musicians in favor of the more well-known performers, but he was grateful for the recognition he received when he was inducted into the Beale Street Walk of Fame in an interview with the Commercial Appeal in 2011. But his significance was well known to those who were familiar with the history of Stax Records and the Memphis music scene, and his contributions were highly valued in the business. Thomas rejoined Stax in 1967 after serving in the Army from 1965 to 1967, and he remained an essential member of the label until its demise in the middle of the 1970s. In addition to touring with the Temptations, he was the music director for Peabo Bryson and employed at Muscle Shoals. His acting career included roles in the films Watt Stax and Mystery Train, as well as a soundtrack contribution to the highly regarded film Hustle and Flow. Apart from his artistic accomplishments, Marvell Thomas fervently supported the legacy of his family. He was instrumental in getting his father, Rufus Thomas, honored with a street in Memphis, and in getting both him and his sister, Carla, inducted into the Memphis Music Hall of Fame. His commitment to conserving his family's legacy and contributions to the Memphis music scene was evidence of his strong sense of duty and pride. Although Marvell Thomas's passing is a great loss for the music industry, his legacy will live on thanks to the innumerable records he helped produce and the numerous artists he influenced. Along with commemorating Rufus Thomas's 100th birthday, the Stax Museum of American Soul Music will pay tribute to Marvell's extraordinary life and contributions to the music industry. He is survived by his wife, Najee, daughter Leah, sisters Carla and Venice. Plans are in place for a public celebration of Marvell Thomas's life.